What is going on, everybody? BriarRabbit here. We got Beastly Thoughts 2.0, the first episode. I don't know what episode it is of Beastly Thoughts. I should have checked that before we started the show.
Who cares? Let's just forget about it. Just leave it.
All right, so Beastly Thoughts 2.0, we have decided to change up the format of the show. I hope it's for the better. We'll have to see in the future. Beastly Gamer, why don't you tell us a little bit about the new format?
Okay, so you guys have got to get prepared for this because we're all about to get stark naked. Ready? Okay, no, that's not that's not the new format. The format that we're going to start to use today, and hopefully for the foreseeable future, is we're going to have a 1-hour live Beastly Thoughts show. That show is going to go over the news and video game topics of the week, and after that 1-hour period, we're going to get together and we're going to do some Let's Plays for whatever game we decide for that week. This week is going to be Evolve for PlayStation 4. So after you guys watch the show, if you're watching us live, you can follow us straight on over to our live streams, which you can find on twitch.tv.
I'll put a link in the description of this video as well.
Yeah. And so after the first hour of the live show, we're going to have a 10-minute intermission where we all get ready, get powered up, get our Red Bulls and stuff going on, and then we're going to go straight to the games.
That's right.
The Red Bulls.
I'm actually really excited about it. I don't know that we'll be doing a different game every week. My guess is that we'll probably get stuck on certain games for a while or come back to other games. Destiny pops to mind.
Of course, always go back to Destiny.
I see us playing more Destiny than anything else, to be honest.
Right now, definitely. I wouldn't mind going back to Advanced Warfare as well, just seeing what the state of that game is in. But we've got Not Too Nerdy here tonight. It's been a long time since we've seen Not Too Nerdy. What have you been up to?
Yeah, man, it's been a while since I've been here. I've been working a lot, so that's the reason why. I've been working every Sunday, so I haven't been able to make the show. But, you know, overtime paychecks are good, though, I'm not going to lie. So next week I'll probably be crying once I get, like, a normal paycheck. But, yeah, so now I'll be able to come every Sunday and stuff like that. I have been playing some games. You know, I played that Resident Evil game many times to beat it different ways and stuff like that. I really like that. I mean, I don't like the way they enhance it. I feel like they didn't enhance it that much. I mean, but I love the original version, so that's the reason why I like the game. So I understand people didn't like the game because it wasn't that much of a big difference. But if you like the original game, I don't see why you wouldn't like this version, the HD version. And I've also been playing Destiny for a little while until I left my disc at my friend's place, and like I need to get the game back. That's the one thing about you know, that it's not digital, that you can't get it back if you don't have the game disc. So I need to get that back, and that's pretty much it. Evolve is the last game the most recent game I've been playing. You know, besides another game that I got to try out a little bit, which I guess I'll talk about a little bit later. But yeah, Evolve has been a lot of fun. The only thing is I still don't think the price tag's worth it, but I'm sure, you know, I'll ask you guys later what you guys feel about that. But I don't feel the price tag's worth $60. But, you know, I have the PC version, and like I got it for $22, which is like a flash sale. So I got lucky on that, but I don't think I would have paid $60 for that game. So that's just my opinion. And I did play a little Mortal Kombat X, just to let you guys know. That's
really?
That I did get a chance to try out, and I'm really excited about that game. So,
did you like 9?
Was that? Oh yeah. Well, I like 9 because 9 just felt different, and then this one felt more different from 9. So like they improved on moves. They did subcategories for people. So it's like, so there's 3 different types of, like, you know, one character might have, it'll be better aerial version of a person. Like it feels sort of like they did like a Street Fighter / Mortal Kombat. So like you have more variations of one character now, which I think that's awesome. So it's not like their costumes changed, because the way it looked like in the trailers where it was just the costumes change, but it wasn't just that. Like they also had different styles of gameplay. Some of their moves change, and it's a little bit different.
Do you switch it up when you select the character? Do you go then into a submenu where you select the style of fighting?
Yep, exactly. So
it's not like you change stances during the game?
It sort of reminds me of like Marvel vs. Capcom, I think. Street Fighter does the same thing. Marvel, you know, all those games. Street Fighter, Marvel vs. Capcom 3, like they all do that, where you select the character and then it says like what subclass you want of them. Because like I was playing with the Katana, and she had like assassin version of her, and she had different moves. Well, she'll run really fast, sneak up, and like stab you. There's different things that she'll do that's moves that are completely different. She also had another subclass that was very similar to Jade's, because they so far said Jade's not in the game, but they don't have any plans for her. But her subclass, I forgot what it's called, but her subclass is just like Jade, so which is pretty cool. But I mean, there's a bunch of other characters. They didn't show everyone. I think they had like 6 characters total, 7 characters when they let us try it out, but that's pretty much it. So.
Yeah, that game's getting a lot of hype. I hope it's good. I thought 9 was really good.
Yeah, I just think visually you'll like it, Brian. Like, it just looks cool to watch. Like, it's one of those games, like, even if you're not playing, you're watching someone else play, it just looks cool to watch it. So that's always good.
That's awesome.
Mortal Kombat, as far as the old school goes, I'm a big fan of the old Mortal Kombat. And then when they started to change and kind of come into the 3D realm of Mortal Kombat 4, I lost the desire to play it because it looked like crap. Then Mortal Kombat 9 came out, blew my mind. I loved it. I wasn't really online playing it at the time, but I thought that the single-player campaign was great. This game looks phenomenal. And so when you played it, would you say you were inclined to say that this is a must-have?
I think if you're a fighting game fan, yes. If you love old school Mortal Kombat, yes. Because this is also old school Mortal Kombat. The twist. It looks like they practice with Injustice, because they're using a lot of things from Injustice where the background you could use as a weapon, and it just makes the game so cool. Like, there's different things. There's like I think what was it? They showed me one line or something like that, or a Sabretooth, something like that. That is in the background. The Sabretooth grabbed onto you and stuff like that, and then you could do a special move behind it. So it's a lot of things going on, but it's good for combos, and it's really cool. And I can't wait to see how people like Evo and stuff play this, because like how they'll chain combos together and like use the background to their advantage and like do the finishing moves. It'll be pretty cool to see what people come up with. So,
Justin Wong, make sure you comment in the comments below. Justin Wong,
I know you're watching, our one viewer. Beasley, what have you been playing?
This week, I've been playing Evolve when I had time. It's been kind of a rough week for me. I played some Resident Evil Remake as well. My older brother, he got it, and we are actually playing it together. That game, for the price, I don't have any complaints. It does have minimal differences. They changed the aspect ratio. They redone the backgrounds and the character models. Plus, you have the option of playing with the more modern versions of those characters. Jill Valentine. I mean, is it Jill? Yeah, Jill Valentine and Chris Redfield from Resident Evil 5 or 6. So it does look really great. The one thing that I'll say I was a little let down by is that they didn't touch up the cutscenes at all. The cutscenes are identical to the way they were all those years ago. They just look grainy, and compared to the rest of the game, they look out of place. But the game overall, I think it's a fantastic game. I've been playing a lot of Evolve and smashing in that game. I think I'm one of the beastiest beasts out there when it comes to being a monster. And I got to agree with you. We actually have this in the subjects later on. We'll talk about our thoughts on Evolve.
Why don't we skip Evolve until we get to... So everybody's been playing it, so we're all going to want to talk about it.
I bought an Xbox One this week.
What?
Woo!
Yeah. Oh, man. Wait, what are you going to do about that Sony tattoo?
You're going to have to burn it now. Just burn it. Burn it.
I'm trying to get a cover-up saying I'm sorry. No, I bought... now I have 2 PS4s in the house, and I got an Xbox One bundle with Assassin's Creed Black Flag and Assassin's Creed Unity, and I also picked up Halo Master Chief Collection, and they'll all be here by the 23rd. Amazon, love you. So I'm really excited about that. Experiencing some new stuff.
Did it go back to $350 when you got it?
I got the entire bundle for $359.
Okay.
Wow.
With Master Chief Collection, brand new, no Connect, yay! So I'm really hyped about that.
Did it fall off the truck or something?
No, and it wasn't the guy with the coat. It was legitimate Amazon. I did some online searching yesterday. I actually was on Craigslist looking and talking to people, and there's just so many questionable people selling stuff on Craigslist. I decided to come home and look in legitimate stores, and I went to Amazon, and I caught a really nice deal. $359 for the console with the digital downloads for both Assassin's Creed games and the physical copy of Halo Master Chief Collection for $359. I just couldn't turn that down.
So that's going to be here next week for you?
On the 23rd, by the 23rd. So
by the 23rd.
That's cool. Maybe Master Chief might be fixed by then.
Yeah, who knows?
Probably not.
It's been a really, really long time since I played any Xbox games. To be honest, I think since I've done this show, I may have turned on my Xbox 360 once. So it's been a year. So I'm really amped. I bought today a year of Xbox Live. I got that for $40. So I'm really excited to try out some of the games that I missed. I'm really excited to try out Titanfall. I know that ship has gone and sailed, but I still want to have that experience and some of the other games that were released for Xbox One in 2014. And there's my cat in the background. Look at him. You see my cat? I took him Friday, and he got neutered. Yeah, he just got his balls cut off, but he still got that kind of energy. Jeez.
Not me. You couldn't do that to me and keep that energy going.
So that's been my week in gaming. I'm looking forward to playing my Xbox One. Having fun with Evolve, played some Resident Evil. I didn't play any Last of Us. We've been kind of busy transition, with the first shift schedule thing. But things are looking good for me in the gaming department in the near future.
Last of Us, Beastly, are you feeling okay?
Yeah.
So I want to ask you guys about, before we move on to Robbie, I want to ask you guys about Resident Evil. I checked out a quick video about it because I was kind of on the fence. I'm like, maybe I want to go back to this, maybe I don't. I did love the game when it originally came out on the PlayStation, but the thing that was the biggest turnoff for me was that they kept the save system and they kept the inventory system, which I remember even from my first playthrough was a real pain in the neck. And now that all those systems have been refined much further, I couldn't picture myself having to run around that goddamn mansion, having to put stuff away and pull it back out constantly. What do you guys think about that? Should they have updated it, or?
No, I think that's a must-have in Resident Evil game. That's what they were missing in other Resident Evil games. The fact that you might be struggling with no life, and you know that you have to go somewhere else, and you have to go back where there might be zombies or something like that. That's what makes it survival horror. That you're limited on the ammo, you're limited on life, and then you have to try to make it back to save the game. I think that's what it is that made Resident Evil like that, and then when they got rid of that stuff, it made it more like an action game, and they were doing less of survival. And I think that's what made it a true survival horror. They started the genre with that.
What you're saying makes sense, but the thing that drove me nuts was I'd find a crystal that I knew had to be used in the eye of a statue to open a new gate, but I didn't have any room in my inventory, so I'd have to track all the way back to the nearest chest, wherever that was, and track all the way back to get the crystal, and then all the way back to wherever the door is I have to open, then back to the chest to actually pick up the stuff I want to bring with me. And it was just endlessly, I was just running back and forth to chests.
Cause that's the way it is to experiment. What are you saying, Lisa? Sorry.
I have to agree 100% with Briar on this. And the reason I do, don't think for a second I'm discounting what survival horror is, especially when it comes to the company that created the genre. Resident Evil, as what it was back in the day when we were all kids, that's what it meant. That's what survival horror meant for that time. Finding these ink ribbons, going to these storage boxes, and it made sense because the technology back then was, not as advanced as it is now. Now, when games are released, we got a younger audience that expects things to not be quite as hard. And with Capcom in a situation like this, first of all, Resident Evil was this remake, Capcom's #1 selling digital game of all time. And it's the fastest selling PS4.
Capcom has been knocking it out of the park in the digital age.
but it's still, there's been tons of other digital games. But the thing is, it's also the fastest selling A1 digital game ever on PlayStation 3 and 4. So it sold a lot. So a lot of people are going with it. I think that the save feature was the one thing that they should have changed. I think that I could have dealt with the storage issue because I grew up playing Resident Evil like that. So I'm kind of used to it. But the thing is, the same way that they changed the control scheme for newer gamers to a more traditional third-person experience, they should have been able to change some of those other aspects as well to accommodate people who are used to more modernized games and adventures. They changed the control scheme because people aren't used to playing tanks anymore. They could have changed the save to a similar way. That people aren't used to saving that way anymore. People aren't used to having storage boxes anymore. So I think that they could have accommodated. I think it would have been probably a better experience overall if at least that was open for option.
Because that's what made the game scarier, harder. That you knew that it hurt more. Like if
long. It would have been like an hour and a half game if you didn't have to keep going back to those
But
chests.
think about it, like how would they do it though? How would they do it? Do the checkpoint system? Would they let you save at any point?
I mean, think about it. The Evil Within is a survival horror game. It had checkpoints, you know, and it still felt like a survival horror experience.
But I would have liked to see an expanded inventory, or at least the option to play with an expanded inventory.
But if you saw, though, Evil Within was not true survival horror anymore. They turned more to action.
And that game sucked.
It wasn't good.
They turned more to action, and that was a problem. That's the same thing with like other games that they're changing the actual genre what it used to be. For example, look at Metal Gear Solid. It was stealth. It was all about stealth. Now all of a sudden you go guns blazing. You could do that if you want to.
Yeah.
Look at Hitman. Hitman used to be a certain way. Look at Hitman Absolution. Look at the way it's no longer stealth anymore. You know what I mean? Like, the games that change the genre, it changes the game as well completely. And Resident Evil never used to be like that. It used to be the fact that that's what added to it. The fact that you couldn't move too quickly. It had buggy controls. Like, fine, Resident Evil 4 fixed the controls for Resident Evil. I agree. That control system is way better than the first one. But when you come into saving and stuff in the inventory, it makes a lot of sense. You can only carry a certain amount of things, and if you can't, you have to plan ahead. And if you play the game again, I guarantee you remember, oh, I remember this part. I'm not supposed to carry this. I don't need this item. Let me put it down. It can make you think about, do you really want to carry this item? If you're only allowed to carry 6 items or 4 items at a time, what are you going to carry? You're going to carry the knife? You're going to carry the gun? You're going to carry more ammo? Like, what are you going to carry? And that's what makes it survivable, because you have to think about what you need in order to survive in the game. And
I see your point 100%, Hector. But the thing is, back in the day when we played Resident Evil initially, the tank control made it seem more cramped. You felt, more restricted because you couldn't just run in the direction that you wanted to run. You had to take extra time to maneuver your character, turn a certain way, and then push up to run. That made the game more restrictive and more scary as well. They took that out and gave people the option to play it in a traditional third-person control scheme.
All right, let's move on. Let's move on off of Resident Evil.
It was the analog stick. Don't forget, they didn't have the analog stick.
Yeah, they didn't have
PlayStation.
it. Yeah.
That's the reason why they did that. But
Robbie, how about you? What have you been playing?
So, obviously, you've been playing a lot of Evolve, gotten into that game. I agree 100% with Hector. It's not worth $60, but you know what? That game is still like a ton of fun, and I've been having a blast with it. I absolutely can't wait to play in our live stream in a little while here, but I think the game is really great, and overall, I'm still having a blast with it. That's really about what I've been playing, and a bit of Destiny here and there, and that's really been about it.
All right. I basically have the same story Robbie does. I actually just picked up Evolve yesterday, finally threw it in my PlayStation today at about 4 p.m., 2 hours and 20 minutes ago. It took an hour to install the game. I had to actually install the game, and then there was a 3 gigabyte day one patch that I had to install, which took a long time. I was pretty pissed about it, frankly. So I've got a total of about 45 minutes into the game, so I can't really talk too coherently about the value of the game because I haven't seen the extent of its content. But you guys who have played it a little more, what do you think about the actual extent of content in Evolve? Is it there? Is it worth $60? You guys I'm pretty much hearing across the board, no, it's not worth $60.
No, no.
It all depends on your I guess it's your personal preference. Some people say it's only 3 monsters and 12 hunters. But when you take into account that the 3 monsters are all incredibly different, and all the hunters, the 4 classes are incredibly different, it took a lot of time.
How many maps are there?
I don't know how many maps there are. I mean, I've seen quite a few.
But in Call of Duty, there's one character. But
I will say this though, that the same way I felt about Titanfall, a game that doesn't have a single-player campaign, it doesn't flesh out, any story. I gave Destiny a lot of flack. I give this game the same amount of flack in that department. That you really don't care too much for the characters. You don't know too much about their plight, why they're doing what they're doing, and you're kind of thrown into a multiplayer mashup.
There is a story mode, though, right? That you can play either solo or multiplayer.
Yeah, there's this mode called Evacuation. You can play either solo or multiplayer. It's not really a story.
It's not a story. It's 5 multiplayer matches together. It's elongated into like this long story-driven situation. Whoever wins the last match has perks and things laid out throughout the map for the following game, but it doesn't really give you any story. And so the same way I felt about Titanfall, the same way I felt about Destiny, well, not so much Destiny compared to Titanfall, this is a multiplayer experience only with really not much more meat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So how is it as a multiplayer experience?
It's fantastic. It really is.
There you go.
I think that it's something different. I'm kind of the same way I felt with The Last of Us. This game is a totally different type of experience. It's like the most visceral and violent game of hide and seek you'll ever play. You are hiding from 4 of your buddies or 4 of your enemies, and you have advantages and they have advantages, and depending on how you utilize your skills, it'll turn the tide of the match. You can go right in and try to fight them. You can wait and level up, and they can acquire skills by killing enemies on the map. You know, the hunters can kill these animals and pick up perks. They give them faster abilities. They can jump higher. They can do 35% more damage. It's just so many variables out there that makes this like a well-played chess game. I'm really loving it. I think it's great. Is it worth $60 to me? I wouldn't say it is. I just actually uploaded a video about it. I think the game is probably worth a good $40. I think it's a $40 experience.
If you play this game for 3 months, though,
it will be worth $60. Yeah, for sure.
So I think it's hard to answer the value question. I think, a few days after it came out, if Robbie's still enjoying it right now, well, maybe in a week from now we can answer that question a little bit better. But it's hard to say. Because I would buy Call of Duty multiplayer. Like, Call of Duty Ghosts lasted me a full year, right? Because I really enjoyed the multiplayer in Call of Duty Ghosts. I never played the single-player campaign. I never played the zombie mode, whatever that was called, or the alien mode. But the multiplayer version part of that game, to me, is worth $60. It was, it lasted me all year. I had a ton of fun with it. So I'm hoping that Evolve is going to be kind of similar to that. And it's a completely different experience than Call of Duty, so I don't know that it really compares, but it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, see, that's the thing too, because when you're first playing Evolve, the game appears to be so simplistic. Like, when I first jumped into Evolve, I gotta be honest, I did not like it, because basically what happens is you drop out of the dropship, you're following Daisy the whole time looking for the monster, you trap the monster and you shoot him. Like, it just seems like the most simplistic and boring game in the world. I did not like Evolve when I first played it, but as you play it more and more, you understand that you don't need Daisy. You don't have to follow her. She just kind of helps you give an idea of where the monster is. You have to look for these things like, oh, there's broken trees. Like, the monster walked this way because he broke a couple trees, or there's corpses laying on the ground that he was just feeding off. So you kind of get a sense of where the monster went off of these dynamic events that are going on in the level. And there's just so much more to this game than it at first appears to be. Like, Evolve is really fantastic if you can dedicate enough time into it and understand what's going on. It's a ton of fun.
The thing is, though, I don't know. The way I feel right away, right off the bat, it has like that Titanfall-esque thing to it. The fact that it's like, it's right away. It's half a game, and half a game means it's half price, right? Or I'm still paying $60 for half a game. But anyway, it's my point is, like, I feel that the problem with this is going to be like Titanfall, that after a month, if not even a month, I don't even think Titanfall lasted a month, but let's say a month, that it's going to get repetitive because you're relying on these characters and monsters. After you play them a couple times over and over again, the same maps, you're relying to get a new one. And they already announced for DLC what you're getting. One new monster. Just one new monster. Okay, so how many monsters is that total? If you didn't pre-order a game, you only have, what, 3 monsters total?
3 monsters, yeah.
And if you did pre-order, you got 4. So you're talking about 5 monsters. You're rotating out 5 monsters and the amount of characters you're getting, and you're expecting the game to last a long time because maybe they throw in new game modes, but at the same time, like, it's fun. I'm not taking it away. It's fun now. I just don't think that it's going to last as long, and it's weird because I thought it would at first. But, like, the game modes now, it won't. Like, there's some monsters pretty cool. I think the Kraken is, like, that's probably the coolest monster there is. Just the way you could do things, you float, like, the way you glide in the air and stuff like that, that's pretty cool. But, like, it's just the game itself, it just seems, like, very repetitive. And I don't think it's going to last long because, like, if you really think about it, what else are you going to do, like game mode wise? Like I like the one game mode where you go around the map and you as a monster you have to destroy the eggs. You know what I mean?
Let me chime in real quick. This is what I think about this game so far, if I can put it into terms that are understandable for people who haven't played it. If you guys have ever played a traditional MMO where you have a tank, you have a healer, you have someone to a support, that is what Evolve is when you're a hunter. There's one person in the team who's a tank. There's one person who heals. That's your primary job. You stay back. There's a support class, and there's a trapper class. And that aspect of it alone, if you just swap in between those four characters and the monster, it makes it so entertaining. It's so many different things that are going on throughout the match. I mean, I love being the healer, and that alone makes me just really enjoy that experience, knowing that all these guys are depending on me. If you're a hunter, everybody's depending on you to keep this thing trapped. If you're the tank, you can go head to head with this monster. It's just so much going on. It's not like a traditional first-person shooter. I think it does have, a lot of replayability when it comes just to the multiplayer space. I don't know how long it'll last, but I know just based on how deep it is right now, I'm going to play it for a long time. I'm going to play it for a long time.
Yeah, obviously, especially because when you consider how dynamic the campaign is, like, every time you play a brand new match, you don't know what's going to happen. Like, you don't know playing as the monster if you're going to get caught right away, and then you're trying to keep running away and you're trying to feed. Like, you don't know what's going to happen. The game is really dynamic, and every match is different.
And they have modifiers, so if the monster won the last match, then the hunters might have a tougher time because there's gas around that they have to avoid. Mm-hmm. Or if the hunters won the last match, it can modify it so it's harder for the monster. And if they win consistent matches in a row, then it gets harder and harder. So good players actually get benefits from winning, and bad players get punished, but in different ways. They say that there's actually like 800,000 different combinations of things that can happen, like between things getting buffed and different gas happening or whatever. I haven't obviously I don't have the play time to really speak on everything that's happening, but I do like the game modes. I think it's pretty cool so far, but I can't really speak to value.
The one thing that I think is gonna die out quickly that they did a huge problem is not enough monsters to begin with, because they're gonna rotate 4 monsters if you're lucky. If you pre-order, Robbie told everyone not to pre-order, so I guess they didn't pre-order. But I didn't pre-order, but I got the monster.
It's worth it. It's worth it, though. Don't defend this. Like, can you imagine paying $15 for one monster? That is insane. Just don't do it. Just don't do it.
That's why people are going to end up doing it, because they're going to get bored with 3 monsters. Because when you're in a monster and you only have 3 characters to choose from, rotating out, and a month from now, you'll be bored. And you're telling me that extra monster is going to do that?
Let me say this. I like the Goliath. That was the first monster I ever got a chance to play with. I played with 2 monsters. I have 2. And I like the Goliath. I don't even feel like I want to try anything else. I feel like I want to hone his skills.
Kraken's best.
Yeah, but it's all personal.
Release the Kraken!
Yeah, just saying that is the best.
Back to what Briar said. I want to give you a good example of how I use this world against the hunters, because I try to be the monster every time I can. They were right on my tail. I saw 4 of them running behind me. And so I ran towards a giant beast that was in the middle of the map, a big giant red beast. And I hit him as hard as I could and pissed him off. Then I ran away from him. And so the hunters were running, following my tracks. They ran into this thing, and one of them immediately got killed by it. And 2 of them continued to chase me. So I doubled around a rock. One went back to try to heal the guy who got killed by the monster, and I killed him. And then there was only 2. I got it on video. You guys will see.
I'm really looking forward to getting the party chat going and getting some real fun gameplay going on this. But I want to talk about the biggest news of the millennium.
This is big.
Bethesda is hosting its first ever E3 conference in 2020.
And we should get out of the way right away why this is big, because this is basically where Fallout 4 is going to be announced, and we're going to get right into that.
It better be.
Nope.
What's it gonna be?
What
do you think Fallout 3 HD remix for PS4 and Xbox.
No! I would buy that though. I would buy
that. And I would start throwing things on stage if they announce that. Can you imagine?
Oh my God! After Diamond starts,
the Ultra HD edition.
Like, the internet would just be in such rage. The internet would just break. It would collapse. Like this, just.
Fallout Newer Vegas.
Fallout Newer Vegas. So when I heard this, I was actually in a raid in Destiny, and one of the raid team members was kind of like just brought it up. Hey, did you guys hear that Bethesda has its first ever E3 conference? I'm like, Fallout 4? Like, holy shit. That's all we talked about for the next 2 hours, how good Fallout 3 and how good Fallout New Vegas were, and how we can't wait for Fallout 4. And there were a couple of guys in the raid team who had never played Fallout 3, and we immediately said you should turn off Destiny and go play Fallout 3.
Oh my god, stop what you're doing, just stop. Your life is just not complete. Go play Fallout 3. You are missing out so much. God damn it.
Could be a bad thing with this, though, because if they announce Fallout 4, which isn't a bad thing to announce it, but if they announce the E3, we're like 2 years out, maybe 3 years from
No,
you really think so?
Hector, no, listen to me. Fallout 3 was announced at E3 2008 and then came out that same October. I actually believe, because if you look at Bethesda Game Studios' track record, they haven't released a game in 3 or 4 years now. The last game they released was Skyrim, so they've been working on this game a long time. Like, this game is far along in development. I actually think it could come out this fall.
Probably
I think Skyrim was 2012.
I think you're going to see it unveiled at E3. We're going to see a lot of gameplay, and it's going to come out this fall.
Bethesda just got a new game engine not too long ago.
I got a chub right now.
Didn't they get a game engine not too long ago? The Bethesda? I'm pretty sure they just got a game engine not too long ago. They got a new game engine. That's going to take a lot longer to make a game on a brand new game engine.
Yeah, well, I mean, but if you want to play devil's advocate, go ahead, Hector. But the thing is, Skyrim, I believe it came out either late 2011 or early 2012.
2011.
That's been a long time. Yeah, it's been a long time since they released anything. The Elder Scrolls Online was not developed by Bethesda, so they put all their effort into this. And some people are really, anxious in thinking that it's going to be an Elder Scrolls game. That's a possibility, but Elder Scrolls came out last, and that's how they usually do it. So I'm thinking it'll definitely be a Fallout 4 announcement. But there's some other games that they could potentially be announcing as well. Dishonored 2. I don't know if you guys played that.
God, Dishonored 2. Holy shit, if it's announced there, I will lose it.
Now Robbie has a chance.
I don't think they could lose anything they announce, actually. It's like
now,
direct sequel to Skyrim.
At QuakeCon, they privately showed Doom. There's a Doom remake being made. And
yeah, they didn't show it off to the public. They showed it off to the press, so I think we'll definitely see it.
But the press who did see it said it looked amazing, so that could be possible news. I don't know if you guys remember the post-apocalyptic game that involved guns and cars, Rage.
Yeah, I really like Rage.
Expand on that world and possibly make something awesome. They could, what's the one I just played? The Evil Within. They could, show something to do with that. Maybe DLC. I don't think it'd be an Evil Within 2.
Yeah.
Or they could improve upon where that, that game franchise could go. Wolfenstein. That's a no-brainer.
Yeah, I'm going to quickly just delve into Dishonored 2. Did all of you guys play Dishonored here, or who hasn't played Dishonored?
I have. I have it on PS3.
Because that is such an amazing, amazing game. And that's just like with Fallout 4, Arcane Studios, the developer who made that game, they haven't released anything in about 3 years now. Like, they've been working on their next game. And so, Dishonored 2, that's another great possibility.
Maybe they got multiple things to release.
What was that?
Maybe they got multiple things they want to do.
I think so.
The E3 press conference.
I mean, it's going to be their own conference, so I don't think it's going to be centered around Fallout 4. And the thing is, they're going first. They're going before Ubisoft. They're going before Microsoft. They're going before Sony. They're going to be the very first press conference, so I think they're going to come out swinging and hopefully rock the foundation and get all these old fans hyped. For the possibility of Bethesda future in 2015 and 16.
Well, especially because if they're doing their own press conference, it's got to be something big. Like, they have at least one bombshell announcement to share, like something that is going to make the internet explode. And Fallout 4 is potentially that.
Fallout 4, Xbox One exclusive.
Yep, there's another thing.
I don't care.
Then he drops the mic. And he hears half boos and half applause. Oh man!
Okay.
I don't care if it's PC exclusive. I will buy a PC to play that game.
I'll buy it no matter what it's on. That game is even if it's Xbox One. I got an Xbox One, so that's not a big
Windows
deal.
8 exclusive. I'll sign me up.
Fallout 4
really
exclusive. The Ouya exclusive. Fallout 4.
Yeah, exclusive.
Oh god. Maybe not then. That would be the one exception.
I'm really excited to see what happens. What's the date of the conference? June what?
13th, I think. I could be wrong.
I know it has a 3 in it, so it'll be a good time to be a gamer, man. I'm super excited about it. Bethesda Softworks is one of my favorite development studios, man. They made some games that really changed my life. I remember the first time I played a modern Elder Scrolls game was Oblivion. When I played it, I almost quit my life. I was stuck in that world. I couldn't do anything. I was just sitting in a chair for like 2.5 months trying to do everything I could in that game, and I still didn't do it all.
Yeah.
So
It's a coin flip if I'm going to E3 this year. I really hope so, but it's a coin flip right now, and hopefully I feel lucky. It's heads. I'm just gonna say it's heads. No, but hopefully I get to go, man. Because like when I heard about the Bethesda thing, I'm like, man, this is one of those years that I don't want to miss. I feel like it's be a big announcement somewhere this year. You know, especially since we're like in the second full year of the consoles, the new consoles. Like that's where usually bigger games are announced, like better games. And I feel like I want to be there. You know, like this is the one I need to be there. So.
Especially because can you even imagine how good a Fallout 4 being next-gen only is going to be? Like, I can't even imagine how good that game is going to be.
And that's exactly what it would be, too. It would be on PC and next-gen.
That's a good question, though. Do you think that if they did Fallout 4, would it only be next-gen only?
It better be. There's no way you're going to let
I don't know, man, because I think they make money either way.
They do make money either way.
Why not make even more money by getting an Xbox 360, PS3?
And the game's been in development for a long time.
Yeah,
I
so
guess it would depend on how they feel about it. Because like the developers of Dying Light, they had a vision in their mind, and the PS3 and the Xbox 360 was unable to hold up to that vision, and they stayed true to what they wanted the game to be. And if Fallout 4 is a similar type of game, that they have a vision that transcends what last-gen consoles are able to do, and they stick with it and see it through, it'll be better for people who own Xbox Ones and PS4s.
Yeah, I think especially because if Fallout 4 is exclusive to the new consoles, like that'll push them out the door so much more than it already has. I think for the gaming industry, the best thing would be for Fallout 4 to come out on just PS4, Xbox One, PC.
But what about Bethesda? What's better for them? That's the question. You know what I mean? Because like you know how many more copies they'll sell if they had the PS3. This is one of those times that I wouldn't blame them for going for PS3, Xbox 360, PS4, and Xbox One. I think if they announce it, it's coming out next year, I think that I don't blame them. They push all versions out because they would make a killing, to be honest with you.
I gotta disagree with you, Hector. To be honest, those consoles are getting kind of old. I think PS3 and 360 are just about on their way out. I think if you did it last year, it would have made sense. Like 2014 was really the last year for the last generation. I think this year you're gonna see a big like new generation push. I don't see Fallout 4 coming out to the old consoles at all.
If they announce Fallout 4 with Minecraft graphics, would you even care? It's just Fallout 4. I think that's one of those games that people, when they announce it, the majority of people won't even care what the game will say. Just the excitement of Fallout 4, that's the thing you're working with. The fact that they don't even care what that game looks like right away, they're going to be amazed at, oh, Fallout 4.
I still watch Let's Plays of Fallout 3. Like, the graphics don't bother me at all. Like, that game was just so fascinating.
So that's what I think. I mean, the Minecraft, now I just gave them a new idea, Minecraft version, you know.
I played the shit out of that.
Somebody's going to make their own Fallout 4 in Minecraft.
Yeah, that would be an Xbox One exclusive now.
Well, the good thing is we don't have too much longer to wait, you know. I love all this speculation because it's all good stuff no matter what. I mean, even if it comes out on last-gen consoles, it's still good to have Fallout 4. I would just personally prefer it on next-gen so it's not tethered by technology.
I don't want it to be held back. I'll be so...
Yeah. I'm not even worried about the graphics. I'm more worried about the AI and the kind of what they can do with the world.
Before we go on to another subject, one last time, let's go across to everyone. Prediction, what are they going to announce, Bethesda? Go.
I think Fallout 4 is a no-brainer.
Everyone says Fallout 4? I don't know. I still don't think it's ready for Fallout 4. I don't think it's Fallout 4 yet.
I think
you and everything you represent.
Yeah.
I really
get out of this podcast if you're a fan. Fallout 4 is coming out, and you know it.
I want to see Doom. I want to see the new Doom. I just went to a flea market last week, and this guy had no teeth and chew dripping down his beard. He had Doom. He had Doom on PS1, and he said it's $4. So I bought it, and that was the first person shooter I ever played, and it's still right in my heart. So I'm really excited to see what they're going to do with that.
All right, here's my predictions for the Bethesda conference. Fallout 4 is going to be announced. I guarantee, or at least very likely, it's going to come out this fall because they've been working on that game a long time. I think it's very, very possible you'll see it this fall because Fallout 3 was the same situation. Announced at E3 and then it came out like 3 months later. Dishonored 2 is going to be announced there. That's going to be spring 2016, I want to say, maybe fall, somewhere along there. Definitely we'll see something from Doom 4, and then that's all I can think of, and then maybe some other surprise announcement.
Notice how, like, I asked for games, Robbie said games and dates, man. He's like, that's the best.
Just being specific, gotta get it down to the point, exactly.
Like, it's coming out on a Tuesday. The Fallout 4 is a special Friday, so everyone can play it during the weekend.
All right, go that far.
So, I got a big question about the next story. So, former Rare developers are working on a spiritual successor to Banjo-Kazooie. Here's my question. Who cares?
I've never played those games. I just thought everybody would be excited. That's why I posted it. I've never played Banjo-Kazooie.
I never played Banjo-Kazooie either. I could care less when it was out. I used to love Rare as a developer, but I haven't cared about Rare. I don't know.
Since Donkey Kong Country.
I think since Perfect Dark Zero was the last time I actually cared about something they were putting out.
And Brian, to drive that point home, none of the people who worked on that game are at Rare anymore. So it's like a bunch of interns who just got promoted. Now they're all.
That studio's very different from what it was back in the day.
So if you saw another Banjo-Kazooie game, you know, obviously it's branded differently. Would you be excited for that?
I don't know.
I think so. I think it could be cool. I would get excited for it, definitely.
They were collectathons, and I think that kind of gameplay has just kind of worn its welcome out.
Let's go back to prices. If it's $60, no.
If it's a $10 PSN game, maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
If like Resident Evil, yeah, sure. Now this isn't on the list, and so we're going to breeze right by that story. But I want to ask you guys: are you excited that Titanfall is going to be multi-plat? Titanfall 2.
Yeah.
I
They
forgot.
better show me something new, man. They better start out saying introducing the new single-player campaign. Too. If they start out by saying that, then they got us interested, because if they start out by saying online again only and it's a no, I'm sorry. I don't care what platform it's on. It was a ghost town after a month.
But Hector, here's the thing. What if, with just thinking about Titanfall and Evolve, how they are like online only games, what if this is just the future of the games industry? What if $60 games are just multiplayer only? What if the experience you get for these games is just playing online with friends? What if that's just the way it's going to be? Then would it be worth the...
Well, then that means
not for every game, though. I mean...
That means it has to work day one. That means that there's no bugs, that you can actually talk to your friends and everything's good.
Bugs.
That means that there's no... You know what I mean? I'm talking about no bugs as in, like, you can't even talk to other people. You know what I mean? That the Nintendo, you're out of here, because Nintendo doesn't have voice chat. But when I talk about, like, like it has to be something that you can actually play and it's worth $60, because it wasn't like that. They didn't come out with enough maps. They didn't come out with enough weapons. You weren't actually doing anything. Like when you play Call of Duty, at least you're leveling up weapons. You're trying to prestige. You're trying to do different things. They didn't have a system built like that in Titanfall. So what are you playing for, really?
Yeah, they didn't have that carrot on a stick.
So it's like there's really nothing that you're aiming towards in Titanfall. Like, it was fun, but yet once you realize every time you played, you really weren't going for too much. There really wasn't any objectives or missions to really complete within the game that much, and you weren't really getting rewarded when you try to complete something. Then it becomes irrelevant. You know, I think that's the problem with Titanfall.
I think that the first Titanfall had issues, but a lot of first-person shooters that were released in 2014 had issues. They were the first one out of the gate in 2014, and there was a lot of hype. A lot of people were super excited. A lot of people really enjoyed that game. Briar was one of them.
Yeah.
And so everybody else that came out after them, releases like Call of Duty, Destiny, they learned from that. You know, they got a lot of criticism from consumers.
I think that's why Evolve got delayed.
They learned a lot from their mistakes. I hope. They wanted to come out and change the game, literally. They were the first ones to change the game with the verticality, the first game like that with double jumps. Now everybody has it. And so now I think that they have the opportunity to right the wrongs that were made with that game, or the wrongs that were perceived by the gamers and the people who reviewed the game. I'm really excited about it.
I'm excited too because they've already got the engine, so they don't have to spend all that time making the engine that they had to for the first game. They can flesh out some kind of a story mode. I wouldn't actually mind if they just spent more time on a story mode that was multiplayer, kind of like the last one, but really fleshed it out heavily, so it was more of
substantial.
A story.
Make it so people
More
actually care, and there's a real story there, even if it is multiplayer focused. Like, just have it there at least.
Also, I would like to see many more weapons, many more maps, many more Titans. Just like expand, what I can do in the game, so that after a month I haven't tried everything out. I don't know all the combinations, all of that stuff. I would also like to see. Like Not Too Nerdy just said, I'd like to see some kind of a carrot on a stick with player progression. Let me earn golden guns. Let me earn that kind of thing. Get all of that stuff out there. They really the biggest failing for that game was that once you prestige for the first time, there's really no reason to do it again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And also another thing though, you stated that they already have the engine.
Mm-hmm.
Do they really have a good engine now? Because
I thought the engine was fantastic. It was fast. It was fluid.
It wasn't. It was the way it looked, though. See, the thing is, it was fast and fluid because they brought down the resolution completely. If you look at the PC version, even the PC version had problems running with the engine. Even people were complaining. That's some of the reason why PC players stopped playing it, because they're complaining about even when they raised up the resolution and the graphics, it still looked like it wasn't as detailed like the world. So
there's a simple answer to this question. Don't play on PC.
Wait, what
point is running Windows 8?
If you're running Windows 8, then just, even more, stop playing on PC.
I ran it on Windows 7, thank you very much. Professional.
Good choice. Good choice.
All right, what's next?
I think we should talk about the, we're kind of running out of time here. We're going to talk about the order for a bit. How do you guys feel about this game? Are you excited? It's coming out on Friday, so it's pretty close.
Coin
I have no idea.
Exactly. Coin flip. Yes and no.
There's been a lot of rumors going around. The latest rumor was that this game only was 3 hours long, which I had to actually go on in depth online, searching to find out what the hell was going on, which is totally false. A few weeks ago, someone leaked a video of an hour worth of gameplay. I forget what language the guy was playing in, but I watched that. The game looks great. I don't know how well it's going to play. I don't know exactly how much of the game is going to be quick time events. But it looks phenomenal. I liken the graphical style of this game to PT, Playable Teaser. That world inside of the Silent Hill demo, the walls and the way that the aesthetic look was almost photorealistic. This game is really close to that as far as the graphical style. But a game just can't be graphics and nothing else. So I want to play it. I'm excited for what it could be. I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm going to wait. I'm not going to get that day one. There hasn't been any alphas or betas for the game. So until I actually get my hands on it or see what someone else has to say about it, I'm going to keep my eyes open and my ears open and hope for the best. I'm actually a little bit more excited about Bloodborne at this point.
I got to play the earlier version of that game. And that game, cause that was during the time people said it was just QuickTime events, and it really isn't all QuickTime. There was QuickTime events in it, but it was really more QuickTime events was when you have to do some sort of action. So you have to pick something, move it out of your way. You're doing QuickTime events or something happened, just sort of like Call of Duty style. So someone jumped in front of you and you might have to do a QuickTime event to move them out of the way. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, the movement felt like Gears of War. They even had a shaky cam when you're running and stuff like that. So it really feels like Gears of War with that in that genre and with those type of weapons and stuff. So it's kind of cool in that sense. I was sort of scared because the parts that I saw were really good, but then I saw other parts that people showed on IGN and stuff like that, and I'm I don't know if that's that good. But that was all early versions too, so we don't know. But I don't know, because that's the type of game I'm hoping that if it's 10 hours of solid gameplay, it might be worth it at $60. But I feel like it better be long, because if it's not, the fact that it doesn't have multiplayer, because they missed out on a good chance of multiplayer. Because these weapons and this style. You realize what you could have done with this in a multiplayer.
Nikola Tesla is the guy who designed the weapons in the game. But I do remember someone named Not Too Nerdy Entertainment telling us how much they enjoyed Infamous Second Son.
Yeah.
And Infamous Second Son was not a very long game, but you got a lot of enjoyment.
How many hours? I played 22 hours of Infamous Second Son. So,
yeah, but you went through the campaign twice on both sides, so which is understandable.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying though. There's both sides. That's what I meant. There's still 20. That's 22 hours I've played the game. That's right there for me is a solid game. Like even if it was only 15 hours, that's a solid game for me. Like that's what I'm saying. Like if it's because this is not going to be choose your side type game. This is like one story campaign and you're done. So that's why I meant like, is it going to be a solid? Otherwise, not worth $60 to me. I felt Infamous Second Son was worth $60 because I had a solid gameplay, two sides in 22 hours. You really can't complain for a single story, game. So
is the time you spend with a game the only like value proposition? Because if I get a 10-hour game that knocks my socks off, but let's talk about Last of Us. Like that to me was like a 8 or 10-hour game, right? It might have been more close to 8.
It could be kind of like 15 hours if you took
it was
your
a 14. It was a
time.
14-hour game.
Okay, but
14
like
hours.
that was for me a one-time experience. I never went back to that campaign again. I'll still talk about how good it was, but it wasn't about the length of the campaign. It was about like how impressive it was visually, how good the storytelling was, like all of that stuff. And I don't really like the multiplayer. I think it's actually pretty bad.
Beastie's got a lot to say about that.
Perfect.
Hey, we can have differing views on things. It's not. But to me, like that was $60 well spent, and that was another $60 well spent when I bought the HD remix, even though I never got around to playing it.
Yeah, exactly. So experiences like that, like even if it's a 10-hour game, like The Last of Us is probably, I have to say, one of the most incredible video games I have ever played. That game is just amazing in every way, and I thought the multiplayer was really good too, but I definitely got my $60 out of that game, and that is something I want to experience. I feel like every year or two I'm going to go back and play that campaign and experience it again because it's so emotional, and it impacts me so much every time I play it still. Like I just stop and think, holy shit, like this is heavy stuff going on. So yeah, that game,
I feel like a time length though for a single player game though has to be a certain length because, for example, you look at like The Walking Dead, right?
Yeah.
The Walking Dead, the seasons. You're paying $5 for average 2 hours, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that's fair because then if you do the full seasons like $15, you save $5, right? And that's almost 10 hours worth in one season. You know what I mean? And you get a solid story, and you got all these choices, which is all the replay values, because like that's something not everyone does, but you can go back and completely change what you did because you made different choices than what you did. And that's if you look at that, that's a lot of value for a small amount of money. Not everyone likes it, but if you're a fan
video games in general, I think represent a good value for your entertainment dollar. It's much better than movies, Yeah,
especially playing those games with friends and getting more experiences out of it, you just get more and more value for the games you pay for. Like, for example, Call of Duty, you and I, Briar, are big Call of Duty fans, and for years, like, I played Call of Duty pretty much until the next one came out, and that value is insane. Like, how much
years I haven't been doing that.
Cause that's the thing, though, because, like, you're talking about, like, $60 is a lot of money for a lot of people, And you gotta be careful with video games. You're on a budget, video game budget. You could buy 1 or 2 video games in the next couple of months. What are you gonna choose? Are you gonna choose a game that's only 10 hours long, and then what? Try to resell it, and you maybe get $35 for it, $40 if you're lucky. Then what? You know what I mean? Like that's why it's a big choice, and that's why I feel like they gotta make it longer. Otherwise, people will not stick with that game, and it's just the way it is. And like hopefully the DLC. That's what people are waiting on, right? What are they going to do? Are they going to drop the game once the game's done, or are they going to add DLC to it to make it longer?
Beastly's getting one step closer to hentai tonight.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it back here.
Oh, gosh.
My personal thoughts on this, okay? A movie, a video game, they all create their own world, and within that world, that reality exists. Some video games last for 6 hours, and you get a good experience out of them. Some of them last 20 hours, you get a good experience out of them. You can watch a 2-hour movie and have a great time. You can watch a 3-hour movie and have a great time. It all depends on how well they're able to convey that story, that emotion, the character within that period of time. I think it's very reasonable to have a single-player game be a 10-hour experience as long as that 10-hour experience, you feel that you got a complete experience out of it. Now, if you play a 10-hour game and at the end of the game you're like, it's over? What the hell? I wanted to see this happen. I wanted to see the progression of this character. But at the end of the game, if you play it and it's 10 hours, you say, wow, I couldn't have ended it any better. I feel like I got something out of that. I feel like it changed me in some way. That was very heavy. I had to make decisions I've never made before then it's worth it. So I guess you got to see what the game is first before you can say whether or not the period of time that the campaign lasts is worth the $60. To me, it all depends on what you get out of it, and at the end of that experience, if you feel like it was cohesive, that you learned something, that you enjoyed it, that you cared about the characters, and possibly you want to try it again. So, I mean, the game looks great on a visual aesthetic. I think that it's one of the best looking third-person shooters I've ever seen, but that's not enough to warrant, for me, a $60 purchase immediately. Now, if I'm hearing rumblings that the game, wow, this game is fun, this is something new, or this is they've done something, improved on something that existed before. Like when you say that the game plays like Gears of War, to me that's a thumbs up in every direction. Because Gears of War is awesome. So if they've taken that, that play style, that movement style, the camera, shaky camera, you run all this stuff that works so well.
But like the shooting is different because the weapons are different. Those weapons are kind of interesting, man. I'll say the least. Like the type of machine guns, it's weird. It's a mixture of old school but alternate reality old school weapons, which is pretty interesting. Though that's why
Coltrane appears in the Order 1886 confirmed. Coltrane.
That'd be funny if he just had like a slight appearance, like he's one of the side
just walks through and goes,
game.
"Woo!" and he's gone.
Rings are hell.
This game has This game has a lot of things that actually draw me to it. I like the alternate history. I'm a big fan of Nikola Tesla personally. I think he was one of the greatest geniuses.
Oh,
really? He was really intelligent. Came up with some incredible stuff that people have not, like HARP. That was his technology. The High Altitude Aurora facility up in Alaska. That's his technology. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with that twist that they use on him. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with the Lycans. I liked the first Underworld movie. I thought it was great. And
when did werewolves start getting called Lycans all the time?
When somebody liked them and said, "Ooh, I like him," like it. Yeah.
What? The sad trombone.
You guys excited for Darksiders 2 Definitive Edition?
Oh my god. No.
I mean, I think we've been over this before. Like, I don't think it matters. You could bring as much games as you want to PS4. If I buy it, I buy it. If not, I don't. Like, I mean, to me, there's nothing wrong with adding more games to the library. If people buy it, it's up to you. You know what the game's about. You know what I mean? So.
Exactly. I think the most important thing here is to vote with your wallet. Like, if you want these remasters to keep coming, then just buy them. If you don't, then just don't buy them. Just say, no, this isn't what I want. But have you guys ever played Darksiders 2? Because that is a damn good game. I really like that game a lot.
I think they were both really good.
Yeah. It's kind of like the Sleeping Dogs situation. Did anybody buy that? I don't know anyone who bought it.
No.
The Sleeping Dogs remake.
I was thinking about buying it for PC, but I was like, it's not. It was like at $20, and I still didn't buy it, so that's not a good sign. It's like,
that's lunch for 2 days, right?
Yeah.
Next.
Yeah, I think back to the Order though. Like we know, like I love the setting in that game. I mean that 18th century Victorian London with the like super cool alternate history and technology and the Lycans. Like that story is so fascinating. That setting is amazing. But is the gameplay going to be good enough to hold it up? Is the side characters going to be good? Like, are the relationships going to matter? Like, is this game going to have a good enough story to keep you going? I hope so, because the fundamentals are there for this to be a really cool and unique experience, but we'll have to see how it turns out. I'm super excited about it, but I just want to get an idea of if this game's worth it or not before I buy it.
You know what I'm super excited about?
Playing the
What's
game.
that?
Playing some Evolve.
Yeah, dude.
You guys ready to wrap this one up? Start the live stream up?
I think so, yeah. We pretty much talked about everything on here. I think one quick thing I want to say back to Evolve, though, like we were talking about sort of value for your money and all that, but say you played Evolve for 20 hours, we really enjoy it. Even if we play it for a month or less, you still got your $60 worth and you enjoyed it. So is there anything wrong with that? No.
If it's anything like Left 4 Dead, I'll keep coming back to it, too.
Yeah, like I have a feeling Evolve's going to be worth it, and we're all going to be glad we bought it. I'm already very glad I bought that game. So.
Would you guys buy a Left 4 Dead 1 and 2 HD remake for Xbox One?
No.
I would.
Quick question, Robbie. Did you say the same thing about Titanfall? Yes or no?
Oh, what was that?
Did you say the same thing about Titanfall in the beginning? Yes or no?
Oh, no, that was Briar that said that.
Oh, it's true. You said it too. I know Briar did.
I jumped on the Titanfall bandwagon full on. I was like, choo-choo, let's get going!
The bandwagon is only a week long.
Yeah, it was just like, it just dropped off within a couple of weeks. Like that.
I got flat tired. It broke down.
That was sad to me.
Before we jump on to Evolve, I want to make a quick announcement of something a new series I'm going to have going on my channel. It's called What's That Taste Like? And I know what you're thinking. This has nothing to do with porn.
All right, mute him. Everybody get on that mute button quick.
So,
the mute button quick. Mute him.
I have gone around the world, and I wanted to try some Japanese little entrees like mochis and special edition strawberry Kit Kats. Strawberry cheesecake, the green tea.
That has to be the most annoying sound in the world.
I hear a lot of rap.
This is the green tea Kit Kat is very popular in Japan.
You, my friends, are very brave.
Shrimp chips, just crazy stuff. There's actually a local market here in Atlanta that specializes in exotic foods from around the world. And Kate and I were actually in it a couple of days ago, and I saw this stuff, and I was like, wow, that's awesome. I want to try some stuff. So if you guys want to see people throw up or possibly smile, check out What's That Taste Like on my channel.
Sounds really good. I am definitely looking forward to that. I actually love.
I really thought that was going somewhere else.
You guys other channel, man.
They're like, what channel were you putting this on? That's all. Like,
which channel is this going on, Beastly? Is this going on Pornhub.com or is this going on Beastly Gamer?
The Pornhub channel.
Beastly Porn.
Pornhub. I got a green tea Kit Kats on Pornhub.com.
What's that taste like?
Yeah. All right, guys. Awesome show this week. We'll see you next week.
See you guys.